Hey, good evening. How y'all doing? It's Dave. Um, it's been a minute since we've done any of these things. We've not to make excuses, but let you know what's going on here in our personal life. In our life, as some of you know, some of you don't know, and this might be breaking news to one or two people. But back in December, Amy had a fall and got messed up pretty bad, and she is going in for surgery in a couple weeks to get some relief. And so we've been dealing with that, playing with my lights for a second, and around the same time, or about 3 weeks ago now, um, as some of you know, we had a little dog, and Olivia rode on the truck with me for about right, 8 9 years, and then she was home for 6 years. And we figured she's between 17 and 19 years old. So we just stopped it at 18. And well, she took a turn and she stopped eating, and um, we had to put her down. And it's been pretty tough, but yet, we thank God that I had her for uh, 15, 14, 15 years, and Amy's been in her life for the last six. And uh, that was our kid. That was our girl. And so we've been on kind of just laying low. Some of you knew the story, and we appreciate uh, the prayers and stuff that has been rendered and offered for us. But here we are, trying to get rid of that forehead light. But anyways, I've imposed a question: who do you say that I am? And that's if we had a title of our conversation tonight, that's what it would be: is who do you say he is? Who do you say I am? And it's all based on a story in the Bible in Matthew 16 13 through 20. And we've all read the story. We all know the story of when Jesus asked his disciples, "Hey, who do people say we are? What do people say about me?" And it wasn't the fact that Jesus was being conceited or boastful or whatever. It was just a general question. I can imagine that Jesus and his disciples were walking down the road. Maybe they were sitting around a campfire at night, talking back and forth, just having a conversation. Hey, like we do with our friends. Hey, how was the concert last night? How was the football game today? How was church on Sunday? How are you doing? Just general conversation. And Jesus asked that question: Hey, what do people say about me? As a lot of you know, we're friends with an up and coming artist in the Christian music by the name of Joel Jackson, and we'll go out in the public places with Joel, and you know he's just like one of the dudes, man. He's one of the fellas. Amy calls him her redheaded stepchild, but we'll get out at places or go help at a concert, or whatnot, and people run up to him. Hey, can I get your autograph? Can I get your picture? And he's a normal dude to us. But Joel asked, and not bash. Me and him had the same conversation earlier. You know, you go out in public, it's kind of not being conceited or whatnot. It's just being honest with yourself. What do people say about me? You know, we're looking for that gratification of being accepted or being liked, or just seeing if our message is getting across. What do people say? And so that's what Jesus was doing this day. He's saying, "What's people saying about me?" You know, how many times have we wondered ourselves if the new girl we're dating likes us, or our new boyfriend, or our new friend, or even our spouse, or even our own kids? Hey, what are people saying about me? What are people saying?
In this new motel room, and my room had no running water. No water in the sink, none in the commode, none in the shower, no running water. So I called down to the front desk and I told that young girl at the counter, I said, "Hey, my room has no running water." She said, "I know." And when she said, "I know," that ticked me off. I said, "What do you mean you know?" She said, "Well, I can't explain it, but it's the only room in the whole place with no running water. And it wasn't going to be your room, it was another guy's room. But he was so mad about no running water, we gave him your room and you this room." I said, "Young lady, to call you stupid would be to defame the word." I said, "You owe your mother an apology for the day you were born." And I just laid her, the words just kept coming. I sat in the seat of the scornful big time. Finally, after a couple minutes, I said, "You still there?" She said, "Yeah, I'm still here." I said, "You got anything to say?" She said, "Well, since you asked, I got one thing to say." I said, "What's that?" She said, "I go to a Bible college where you come preach every year." I said, "Hey, you knew I was kidding, right? I mean, I don't need water. Who needs water?" She said, "Brother Gibbs, I don't have hardly any money, but I pray for your ministry every day. And every month I send a few dollars because I believe in what you're doing." And she started sobbing. She said, "I'm so sorry I failed you." I went down to that front desk, literally got on my knees. And I said, "Listen, what I did to you, I'd never want somebody to do to my wife or daughter. I broke God's heart. I sinned." She said, "No, it was my fault." No, I said, "It is not your fault. By the way, it doesn't matter what someone else has done. You're to command with love, and your speech is to be always with grace." Those are Bible commands. About a year later, I'm at her home church, and I met her pastor. And he said, "You know, a girl in our church said she met you at a motel where she was working." I said, "How about that?" I mean, sometimes you just try to play stupid, right? Let me see if I could just get out of this. I said, "What'd she tell you?" "Well, just how much she loves you and how she loves praying for you." I said, "That's all she said?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Preacher, let me tell you what I did to her." And I told him the whole story. "She didn't tell you any of that?" He said, "No." He said, "Brother Gibbs, when you told her you owe your mother an apology for the day you were born, she doesn't know who her mother is. She was abandoned on the street, barely survived. She has no idea what her birthday is. She doesn't know who her mother or father are. They found her in a dumpster. She has nothing except Jesus. And she never complains." I said, "Pastor, I want what she's got. What does it take to make you? What does it take to make me?" Sometimes it's just rush hour traffic and we're often griping. Sometimes we're watching something on TV and we're often griping. And by the way, be careful where you put your eyes and ears. I don't care what you're watching, which news outlet, they're all griping. And they want you to gripe and be upset about what they're upset about.
My friends, how many times have we been given the opportunity to share Christ and we don't? I saw that video I just played with you the other night, and I watched it. I guess Amy is tired of hearing it, but I watched it and I watched it and I watched it. And I was trying to find a flaw in that pastor's story. And I can't. Because how many times have we not showed who Jesus is? As that question is put to you. Who do you say Jesus is? Who do you say? And the thing is, that's a question that Jesus emphasizes, that recognizes him as the Messiah requires spirit. If you recognize Jesus as the Messiah, it requires a spiritual insight granted by God, not by mere human observation. Here's the disciples seeing it, everything that he did, everything that he said he would do. But yet, when he asked that question, who do you say that I am? Only one person spoke, and that was Peter. Now, check this out. Peter's confession is the fulfillment of the Old Testament prophecies about the Messiah, affirming continuity with God's plan of salvation. You see, they knew that Jesus was coming because of the stories in Isaiah, and they knew Jesus was coming because of Abraham and Moses. But now they know Jesus is here because of Jesus. But only one person spoke, and that was Peter. He said, "Man, you're the real deal. You're the Messiah." I've often made this comment that we're to share Jesus every day, and some days use words. That day, that evening, this conversation that Jesus was having with his disciples, with his buddies, with his friends, with his homies, if you would. Only one person spoke up. Also shows a personal commitment. The inquiry is deeply personal, asking each follower to confront their own belief and understanding of Jesus' identity. It's not something that you've heard in church, or it's not something you heard someone else say. It's a gut check for you. It's a gut check for me. Who do I say Jesus is? Is he just some figment of my imagination? Or is he the person that I put all my faith and all my trust and all my love in? See, I can't love Christ on my own. I have to love Christ because he loves me first. It's a personal commitment. When that question is asked, who do you say that God is? Who do you say Jesus is? It's a personal thing. It's gut wrench thing. Who do you say? Who do you say that I am? When Jesus responded to Peter, it highlights the authority given to his followers and to the establishment of the church as a spiritual community grounded in recognition of his dignity, of him. You know, when we go and we hang out with these people that we hang out with, we all talk a good talk. There's pastors in churches today that talk a good talk, but do they walk a good walk? I'm not calling anybody out here, but I'm fixing to mention a name. And this person has really grown on me. This person has really grown to me. And that's our pastor, Roger Van Fleet. He's a pastor at State Street Baptist Church here in New Albany, Indiana. And not only does he wear his faith on his sleeve, but it spills over from his heart. And I'm not just saying that because he may watch this or whatever. I'm saying because I mean it. It's so easy sometimes just to phone it in. It's so easy sometimes just to, man, I'll catch it next week. I'll catch up with Jesus tomorrow. Tonight, I want to go do my thing. Aren't you glad Jesus didn't do his thing? Aren't you glad that Jesus says, your life is more important than mine, but me giving my life gives you yours. Who do you say that he is? Is he Lord of your life? Is he the Messiah of your life? Is he the Alpha, the Omega of your life? When I go to work, I have to wear a safety vest a lot of times. And I ordered a safety vest with a Pray for America logo on the back of it. And people know my faith at work. And this young kid came up to me the other night. He said, hey, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah, man, what's up? And he asked a question that kind of shocked me. He says, man, do you think loved ones can see me from heaven? And I answered the question in a way it's like, do you really think they want to see us in heaven, from heaven? I mean, they're with God. And later that night, I started thinking, how many people just take God as fire insurance? Or how many people just phone it in? Oh, I'm going to say a little prayer and I'm going to get dunked in some water or get sprinkled if you're Presbyterian. And I may even do communion once, twice a year. I'd be all right. I can do what I want to do because I said that prayer when we had we at the old church and we was helping with the homeless shelters. People just want to get baptized. If I can just get baptized, everything's gonna change. Yeah, you won't stink as bad. Yeah, your hair get messed up. Why can't we as people why can't we as Christians share what God gave us? Who do you say Jesus is? And who does Jesus say you are? That's a whole different topic right there. But my friends, I'm going to leave you tonight with this. If you cannot say 100% that Jesus Christ is Lord of your life, if you cannot say without 100% that I walk, talk, and share Jesus, if you can't say that, If you think that just saying a prayer is the answer, then I invite you to reach out. I invite you to go on our homepage or our Facebook page. There's a phone number there. I invite you to call that number. Amy or I will personally answer that phone tonight, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, whatever you call. We will answer that phone. I've seen Amy 2, 3 o'clock in the morning talking with this lady on the phone about some issues. I will stay up with you all night long. Don't let tonight be the night. We'll never have this opportunity again like this. You'll never, ever have this opportunity like you're having right now. Do not let this day, do not let this moment you're watching this pass without having a complete and true understanding of who he is. We turn on the TV, we turn on the news, and depending what news channel you watch, depending upon what Facebook post you see or Instagram feed or Twitter or whatever, something is always bad. When's the last time you heard something good happen? When's the last time you heard on the news something good happened? Been a while, ain't it? Don't let tonight be the night that you say, I should have. Don't let tonight be the night when you can answer that question. Who do you say God is? Who do you say I am? Don't let tonight go without starting or rekindling or growing closer in that relationship with Jesus Christ. My friends, we love you. I missed you. I really have. I've missed doing these. I love you guys. I don't get on here much anymore. I promise I will. And I appreciate each one of you. Just for allowing me to have a little part of your day, of your night. It makes things a whole lot easier for me to know that somebody's watching. Leave comments. Leave comments. But I appreciate you. But more importantly, more than anything else in this world, hold on, my throat's dry. More than anything else in this world, I want to thank God for his scars. Because his scars, they give my scars a meaning. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for joining us during this meaningful time together. We truly appreciate your presence and engagement. Our mission is to make Jesus famous in every aspect of our lives. If you feel that you need support in your relationship with Jesus, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are here to assist you and would love to have a conversation with you about your faith journey. If you have made the decision to accept Jesus tonight, we extend our heartfelt congratulations and welcome you to the family of God. This is a significant step, and we are excited for what lies ahead in your spiritual journey.